Hi, everybody. It's Danielle again. This is part two of the Gospel of Matthew, starting at Matthew 6, verse 33. And so I hope you enjoy. So the first one, it took like 50 minutes, which is extremely insane because I felt like I was only here for like 5 minutes. So I looked down, I was like, holy crap, 55 minutes. So that's a lot of time. So I'm going to start now at this part. I hope I didn't just like knock your eardrums out from my microphone. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get started. And if you have any questions or if you want to add to this would be great. If I'm all for it. And I'm excited because I love talking about God. So here we go. Matthew 6:33. But seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Take therefore no thought for the morrow, for the morrow shall take thought for the things of itself. Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof. So, I say this a lot for my business and when I talk to people, spiritual business. We are supposed to be in the present. If you're living in the past, you have fear. The things that bothered you from that time. You're constantly living in the past. If you live in the future, you have anxiety because you don't know what's going to happen in the future. We're not like, fortune tellers here. But if you live in the present, you can only do what's in front of you and you live for that day. And you're not living for things of the future. You're not living for the past. You're concentrating on the now. It's a lot easier to forgive people. It's because you're in the now. You don't need to hold on to the things of the past. We're not looking for that. So I think that's kind of, it's important. I didn't even know that was there. I've read this before, but that one didn't stick out to me, but it's sticking out to me right now. So I'm definitely going to have to highlight that. So I'm going to read it again. That's Matthew 6:34. Take therefore no thought of the morrow, for the morrow shall take thought for the things of itself. Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof. Whew, that's powerful. Judge not that ye be not judged. For with what judgments ye judge, ye shall be judged. And with what measure ye meet, it shall be measured to you again. So, gosh. So, you can get mad at people and God can get mad at us with that same thing that we get. It's like coming right back, bouncing right back. And, if somebody, just say somebody's late picking up their kids and you have a fit about it and you're like, how can it be a person? Then that same thing, you're going to be late with your kids one day. That same judgment's going to be right back at you and you're going to feel like crap. It's just going to be, it's going to be one of those things. It really is karma. I mean, it really is. It's pretty insane. And why beholdest thou the mote that is in thy brother's eye, but considerest not the beam that is in thine own eye? Whew. Isn't that the truth? So what that means is like, you're more worried about this person's problems and you're not worried about yourself. You're more concerned about that, but you're not concerned about the things that you're doing. So it's like, don't worry about what he's doing. That's his thing. Let him do his own thing. Worry about yourself. Or how wilt thou say to thy brother, let me pull out the mote of thine eye, out of thine eye, and behold, a beam is in thine own eye. Right? Thou hypocrite, first cast out the beam out of thine own eye, and then shalt thou see clearly to cast out the mote out of thy brother's eye. So, too, like we go through these experiences and we think we have this great advice for this person, but we're not taking our own advice. Oh, well, it was hard for me, but it's not hard for you. It's like, how does that work? Give not that which is holy unto the dogs, neither cast ye your pearls before swine, lest they trample them under their feet and turn again and rend you. Ask, and it shall be given you. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. Man, this is such an important verse. I constantly am telling people, you have to seek. You got to seek. You seek the kingdom of God. You're seeking God. You're constantly seeking. You're looking stuff up. You're reading. You're praying. you're doing your meditations, you're like, you're in it, you're connecting, you're going within and working on yourself, and you're stopping your judgments on other people, and you're forgiving people, and you forgive yourself. And it's so important. So seek and ye shall find. For everyone that asketh receiveth, and he that seeketh findeth, and to him that knocketh it shall be opened. Oh, so true. Or what man is there of you whom, if his son asks for bread, will he give him a stone? Exactly. Or if he ask a fish, will he give him a serpent? If ye then, being evil, know how to give good gifts unto your children, how much more shall your Father which is in heaven give good things to them that ask him? Whew, that's so true. Therefore, all things whatsoever ye would that men should do to you, do ye even so to them. For this is the law and the prophets. Whew, yeah. So it's the whole, like, you're going to do something good. You want something good to happen for you, then you're going to be good to other people. You're not going to, like they were talking about, you're not going to give, if the kid's hungry and wants fish, you're going to hand him a rock. What the heck is that going to do? That's not going to do anything. So he's saying, you're asking God for something. God's going to give you something. It's going to be like the best something ever. Okay. Therefore, all things whatsoever ye would that men should do to you, do you even so to them. For this is the law and the prophets. Enter ye in at the strait gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. Because strait is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. Isn't that the truth? So, how do I explain this one? This one is pretty simple, okay, in this way. So, it's a lot harder to do the good thing than it is to do the bad thing. And a lot of people that don't want to do the good because it's so much easier to do the bad. It's like when I remember whenever I started like waking up, and I've always loved God. I don't want anybody to get me wrong on that, and God knows this. But it's extremely hard to go in and talk about God. And I think now it's so easy. It's like the easiest thing ever. But it was so hard because there's so many people that just hate God. They just hate everything to do with it. They get so angry and they flip out and they're like losing their mind. And then you got to worry about like people fighting or hurting you or doing whatever. And it's just like, you know what? You get to a point where it's like, okay, this is hard. Well, is it worth it? Absolutely. So this is the most worthwhile thing you'll ever do in your life. And if it leads to my death, so what? Who cares? Because then I will be where I need to be. I'm not worried about it because I'm with God. And it's the most important it's the most important thing ever. So yeah, this is hard. People are gonna talk about me? Yeah. Oh well. They'll get over it. And I'm sure I will too. So because strait is the gate and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. Beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. Ye shall know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes or of thorns, or figs of thistles? Even so every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth fruit of evil. So there again, we know them by their works. So if they're saying they're good and they're like being really horrible, they're not good. If people are saying they're horrible, but this is somebody that's always doing good out there, then they're good. It's the stuff that they do, it's their works. You will know them by their works. A good tree, a healthy, good, wonderful tree isn't going to have like dead leaves and a whole bunch of crap on it. And it's not going to like have poison. So there you go. I'll get even better here. So if you go to church and your church is telling you you're constantly going to go to hell, I mean, is that positive? No. Is is he showing you actionable steps on how to do this, or if he's telling you that you're going to go to hell, and then he goes outside of the door later that night and starts yelling at people, or he's cheating on his wife, or if he's you know stealing from the offering plate, it doesn't matter if he's got a friggin' fake halo above his head. It's not producing good works. So there's a lot of noise here today. So every even even so every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. Every tree that bringeth not good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire. Wherefore by their fruits ye shall know them. Not every one that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven. Many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name, and in thy name have cast out devils, and in thy name done many wonderful works? And then will I profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity. Oh, that one's hard. So I know there's so many times where I think like, I feel like, and I know a lot of people feel this way. So when you start waking up and you start reading a whole bunch of stuff and you start doing all these things and you're listening to everything and you're really trying to learn your like discernment and everything, then you get this knowing that something's right or something's wrong. And it's like, talks about testing the spirit, because you can hear from other spirits, disembodied spirits. And it's like the whole part. If you know them by their fruits, if they're telling you good things, good, like genuinely good things, you can listen and test that spirit. Always be sure before you go and talk to somebody else about it and help them and influence them in a way that could change their mind about something. Be careful what you're talking about. Be careful. Know your truth. I was watching this program one day and it was like incredible, and it was about this pastor, and the pastor was like a evangelical pastor, and he was like a missionary type person. He was going all over the place and he was incredible, and he was very well spoken, and he went somewhere, and I can't remember where it was, but it was somewhere very far away, and all these people were getting healed, and he was doing these things. They were getting healed. I mean, these amazing healings were happening, and he was talking about God, and it was just incredible. And later that night, he went back, or one of the nights. Please don't quote me on this story. And I'm not. There's no intention of me telling any falsities. Okay, it's just me remembering a story. But later on, whenever it was, he went back, and I think they had these tents or something, or it was in a crazy place, like poor place. And he went back to this area where he went to sleep. And he heard God, and God told him that he never knew him. My heart just can't even imagine. And he was upset, obviously, because he actually thought, I mean, this is a good person, I guess, good person. Sit there and judge this guy. And he's, anybody could be at this point, right? And he said, but I healed people. God was like, I healed people. I'm not going to punish my children for the things that you do. Whew. So he was taking credit for healing the people. And he was having lustful thoughts for other people. I guess the story ended up being where the guy said that he didn't realize that he was, like committing adultery because he wasn't. It's like what Jesus said, like when you look and lust after somebody, and he was lusting after somebody that wasn't his wife. That was adultery. And he was talking. It wasn't that, he really was aware that he was, I guess, what he was doing or whatever, but he was talking to people that were actually, I shouldn't say actually committing adultery, because you know what I mean, like what we would think. And he was judging them for it. And so it said, you will be judged on the way you judge people. And he was. So God told him that. So he felt very disconnected. I missed this whole part, but he went back to his place in this area, and he felt very disconnected, and he was praying, and he asked God why he felt so disconnected. He didn't feel like he was connected. He was feeling the glory of God. He felt this amazing feeling. And then when he got back to the tent, he felt terrible. He felt like it didn't even make any sense. He couldn't register what that feeling was. And then when he sat there and he thought about it and he talked to God about it, that's what it was. And it was like, oh, and I'm so sorry, I can't even think of the guy's name, but it was an incredible testimony of his faith. And to make a massively long story short, because I'm already at 16 minutes, he ended up praying a lot, had a really rough go of it, was really going through it, did some fasting, did some praying in this mountain, I guess. I think it was a mountain, because I remember like him having to go up pretty far. And the people that he was working with, they couldn't believe it either. They felt like this change, of the energy, and yeah, that's what it was. And so I kind of I kind of feel like got like slapped down, and I mean, we've all had that feeling, right? We've all been kind of like slapped down. So I don't know, just that story meant a lot to me. His story, his testimony meant a lot to me. I think about that when we go to judge other people and the things that we've done ourselves that we're not so proud of. I'm a very, I guess, harsh critic on myself. Whew. I've worked really hard on that, trying to not be so hard on myself. It's been rough. So I can't imagine what he felt like. That just feels like massive, like my energy just dropped. I just don't ever want to feel that way. So I'm very grateful and very empathic also. I felt his feelings, felt how sad he was, and I just wanted just to love him, just hug him, tell him I get it. I get it. So get it. Whew. I don't even know where I am. Sorry, give me 1 second. Wherefore, not every one that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven. Many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied thy name? And in thy name have cast out devils, and in thy name done many wonderful works? And then will I profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity. That's Matthew 7:23. Therefore, whosoever heareth these things of mine and doeth them, I will liken him unto a wise man, which built his house upon a rock. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew, and beat upon that house, and it fell not, for it was founded upon a rock. And every one that heareth these things of mine, and doeth them not, shall be likened unto a foolish man, which built his house upon the sand. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew, and beat upon that house, and it fell, and great was the fall of it. Man. So I had this dream. It's been, I think it was last year sometime. I'm pretty sure it was last year. It was because it was before September. It was way before September. As I remember, I had this dream, and it had to do with September. So I was in the house, and my mom was talking to me, and she said something, and I can't remember the whole thing. Okay, and anyway, I'm so sorry. My son is talking in the background. So anyway, I had this dream, and my mom was talking to me, and she said something about the 26th of September. And I said, I know what it was now. I know what it was. Okay. So somebody knocked on the door in my house in my dream. And my house sits up higher on this road. It's like one of the highest houses on this road. Okay. It's kind of bizarre, but like it goes down, but like on the other side of the street, it's up higher, and all the houses kind of go like they're kind of lower, like go down like this, okay, or kind of maybe sort of even, but their lawns kind of go into mine though. It's kind of bizarre, but I have a 2-story house, and somebody knocked on the door, rang the doorbell or whatever, and I went out, and here it was this guy that um, used to be a baseball coach, and he had a suitcase, and he was handing me the suitcase. Well, he said, "Hey, I have this suitcase here, I'm he's handed it to me," and I said, "Oh," and my mom was in the background. She said, "Oh, this suitcase from this guy named Tony," and I was like, oh, "Okay," and I looked at the. So anyway, I'll tell you the rest of it later. So anyway, I was like, "Okay," and she goes, "Isn't that funny? Tony, um, his wife died," and I was like, "What?" And I know his wife, in real life, because she was actually really nice, and I really like her. And she said she died, and I said, "Oh, and when did she die?" And she said September 26th, and I was like, "Well, that's weird." And they said that they were going to put these suitcases. They wanted to get mail to my house, and I said, "Okay, you can have the mail sent to my house." He said, "Because ours is the only house that wasn't getting wet, that wasn't flooded." I was like, "Okay." And it was because our house was built higher. Anyway, there was all these things about it, but there were some certain things. Anyway, I looked it up, and there were several really interesting. Sorry, oh many. There were several interesting things about this dream. One was the fact that the person's name was Tony, so that was stuck out in the dream. The fact that my house was built on a rock that was higher, right? That was in the dream. That there was a flood, and that everybody else was bringing their stuff to my house because it was safe, and they knew it was safe, and they were people that I don't really talk to or anything, and they were sending their mail to my house because it would be safe. And I woke up, and it was like really insane. And actually, I want to kind of look up that name Tony, because I can't remember what it means. Oh, my phone's dead. Let me look it up on my other phone. So anyway, it just made me think of that particular scripture. um, and it was so incredible because I do spend a lot of time praying. I do. um, and it means priceless one. And it's the so Anthony of Padua is the patron saint of mislaid items and is often prayed to by those seeking something they have lost. So interesting, right? Isn't that interesting? Wow, it just kind of gave me some chills, I guess. So maybe some of the people that were lost and didn't have God, and that my house was built on the rock that was higher. It's very interesting. This isn't a bragging session. It's not that. It's just that that was the dream I had, and it was incredible. It was a confirmation for myself that the things that I had been doing, it's kind of, I don't know, like I have a hard time sometimes feeling, I don't know if special is the word. It's more like noticed, I guess. I don't need to feel special, but it's nice to have some kind of, confirmation that you're doing something right. Because a lot of times I kind of feel like I'm all over the place, but one thing that's never strayed is my faith. And it's gotten me through a lot. Um, those of you that know me already know that my brother passed away in 2016 and I had a rough time of it. But what I will say is that I didn't have a rough time in knowing where he was or where he went, because I know that God is good and I believe 100%. So my faith is there. It's very strong. Um, okay, so I'm going to read that part again. And the rain descended and the floods came and the winds blew. I can't believe that flood, right? And beat upon the house, and it fell not, for it was founded upon a rock. And every one that heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them shall be likened unto a foolish man. And doeth them not, sorry. Shall be likened unto a foolish man, which built his house upon the sand. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew, and beat upon that house, and it fell, and great was the fall of it. And it came to pass, when Jesus had ended these sayings, the people were astonished at his doctrine. For he taught them as one having authority, and not as the scribes. When he was come down from the mountain, great multitudes followed him. And behold, there came a leper, and worshipped him, saying, Lord, if thou wilt, thou canst make me clean. And Jesus put forth his hand, and touched him, saying, I will be thou clean. And immediately his leprosy was cleaned. And Jesus saith unto him, See thou tell no man, but go thy way, show thyself to the priest, and offer the gift that Moses commanded for a testimony unto them. And when Jesus was entered into Capernaum, there came unto him a centurion, beseeching him, and saying, Lord, my servant lieth at home sick of the palsy, grievously tormented. And Jesus saith unto him, I will come and heal him. The centurion answered and said, Lord, I am not worthy that thou shouldest come under my roof, but speak the word only, and my servant shall be healed. Oh, wow. For I am a man under authority, having soldiers under me, and I say to this man, Go, and he goeth, and to another, Come, and he cometh, and to my servant, Do this, and he doeth. When Jesus heard it, he marveled and said to them that followed, Verily I say unto you, I have not found so great faith, no, not in Israel. Woo. And I say unto you that many shall come from the east and the west, and shall sit down with Abraham and Isaac and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. But the children of the kingdom shall be cast out into the outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. And Jesus said unto the centurion, Go thy way, and be thou hast believed, so be it done unto thee. And his servant was healed in the selfsame hour. And when Jesus was come into Peter's house, he saw his wife's mother laid and sick of fever. And he touched her hand, and the fever left her, and she arose and ministered unto them. When the even was come, they brought unto him many that were possessed with devils, and he cast out the spirits with his word, and healed all that were sick. that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken by Isaiah the prophet, saying himself, took our infirmities and bare our sicknesses. Now, when Jesus saw great multitudes about him, he gave commandment to depart unto the other side. And a certain scribe came and said unto him, Master, I will follow thee wheresoever thou goest. And Jesus said unto him, The foxes have holes, and the birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man hath not where to lay his head. Could you imagine being Jesus not having a place to go to sleep? And another of his disciples said unto him, Lord, suffer me first to go and bury my father. And Jesus said unto him, Follow me, and let the dead bury the dead. Whew! So, what does that mean, right? Let the dead bury their dead. It's like the dead in Christ, the dead in spirit, the dead in, they're not awake. They're just not, they're spiritually dead. There's no works. Whew. Do you feel that? So concerned about things here. You got the Messiah there. Walk with me. Do this with me. Heal with me. Join me. And you're worried about burying a dead person. And when he was entered into a ship, his disciples followed him. And behold, there arose a great tempest in the sea, and so much that the ship was covered with the waves, but he was asleep. And his disciples came to him and awoke him, saying, Lord, save us, we perish. And he saith unto them, Why are ye fearful, O ye of little faith? Then he arose and rebuked the winds and the sea, and there was a great calm. But the men marveled, saying, What manner of man is this, that even the winds and the sea obey him? And when he was come to the other side in the country of the Gergesenes, I know I'm saying that's definitely wrong. There met him two possessed with devils coming out of the tombs, exceeding fierce, so that no man might pass by that way. And behold, they cried out, saying, What have we to do with thee, Jesus, thou Son of God? Art thou come hither to torment us before the time? And there was a good way off from them a herd of swine feeding. So the devils besought him, saying, If thou cast us out, suffer us to go away into the herd of swine. And he said unto them, Go. And when they were come out, they went into the herd of swine, and behold, the whole herd of swine ran violently down a steep place into the sea, and perished in the waters. And they that kept them fled, and went their ways into the city, and told everything, and what was befallen to the possessed of the devils. I find it so interesting, you know, those devils knew who he was. They couldn't wait to get out. You know, they had to get out. Got away from him, huh? But his people, his Jerusalem, they had no idea. They had no idea who he was. Have you ever had that feeling? I had it once. Well, more than once, but I was looking at this man. It was a long time ago. We went to a church service, and it was it was during like a Bible study. I believe that's when that was when I saw it. And I hadn't been in church for a long time, and I don't go to church now. My relationship with God is very personal, and I study and I seek on my own. And but at that time, I was like a babe, right? And I went to this church service, and there was a lot of spiritually dead people there, and they were seeking on Sundays. I'm not judging. That's the truth. I was seeking as well. I think we've all been there where we seek on Sundays. Some of us don't even seek on Sundays. Some of us go and just can't wait to get out. It's a snooze fest. But this particular day, I went, and I think it was like I think this might have been like the Bible study thing that I was going to. And this guy that went to church there was speaking, and he looked at me. Felt I felt the glory of God wash over me. When I looked into his eyes, I saw it. Like he was looking at me. And it wasn't that guy. I mean, I knew it wasn't. It's a beautiful thing. I felt God's glory several times in my life, but that was a very powerful time. It was one of the first times I really felt when you can look at somebody and know that it's like God's talking to you through this person. Have you ever had that? Maybe you didn't recognize it. Maybe you thought something was different, but you weren't sure. And by hearing this, you're like, oh, I did have that. And then you just get overwhelmed. Or maybe you'll hear it and you'll think, oh man, I want that. I've seen God many times. People will say, can't see God and live. You can. I had 2 children. I looked right at them. I see God in both of them. I see God in loads of people. There's so much good. Don't concentrate on all these things that are negative. That's what the enemy, the adversary, wants us to do. See the good. Recently just had an experience with this. I'm going to stop at this particular part because I feel like this is it for today. So I'm in Matthew, and just when the swine so I'd say Matthew 8:32. I'm gonna stop there. So I recently had a situation happen where my profile information was stolen. My business, before I started my business, Transcendence, and my Facebook page, which had 800 and some people on it. And, I've had that Facebook since 2007, and I've asked God several times, help me stop looking at Facebook. And I've stopped looking at it for several months and several months again. And a couple years, a year here, a year there. I really don't get on it very much other than I do look at the reels. I do. I can't just can't stop. I've asked God to help me with that. And so this past month, it's just been a money overload. Everything is like taking every bit of money we have just to kind of get through things. And anyway, it's kind of been a mess, and I've been kind of a mess. And anyway, it's this whole crapshoot of things happening. And then June 3rd, somebody broke into my account and I can't get in. And I said it wasn't me, and they let the person in anyway. They took out my email, they took out my phone number. So now the account doesn't even look like mine. And I had to send my picture to prove that it was me. And I had to take these stupid pictures and these dumb faces, to prove that it's me. And they still say it's not me. And it's like, it's me. I've had the same account since 2007. And I'm frustrated. I'm so angry. And I was like, just so angry. It's like, all this stuff is happening. And it was like, the enemy is trying to get me. And I sat down here for a little bit and I was like, is this happening? And it was like, yeah. It's like this, they're after me. They're after my happiness. They're after this. And I think of Romans 8:28, and it's all these things can happen for the good, even if it's bad. Even if the bad things happen, it can use for good. And I think of this, even all these crappy times, that we're living through. The money system is just stupid, and the taxes we spend, and don't have enough money for groceries, don't have enough money for gas, don't have enough money to go on vacation, don't have enough money for anything. But you see all these elites running around, and they got all this money, and they're making all these rules, they're taking all of our money, and we're just like, my wash machine broke, and like all these things happen, and it's like $200 is nothing to them, and it's like trillions to me, and it's and it's like this Facebook thing might be nothing to them, but it meant a lot to me, and it's like all of these things happened all at once. And it was like I saw the beauty in it, because not having it keeps me away from all the negativity that's on there, and keeps me away from wasting my time that I could be spending time with my kids, or going outside and doing the gardening, or making dinner, which my husband just walked in the house and I didn't make anything, but we're going to my parents' house tonight, so we're good. And making videos on here that I've been saying I was going to make, but I didn't, because I need to lose some weight, and I need to put makeup on, and I need to be prettier, and I need to do all these things. And it's like, oh, and guess what? I didn't put makeup on. Well, I did. I put mascara on, but you can't see it. It's melted off my face. And I didn't lose a ton of weight for this video, and I didn't prepare myself for the video, and I didn't do all these things, and I didn't because I didn't want to. So I was ticked off. And I kept getting raise your vibration, be happy, look at the positives. And I just sat down here for a few hours, almost a few hours, and I've talked about God, and I've talked about how wonderful He is, and I've read Matthew, and getting about to cry. And I think of all the wonderful things that we have, and all of the wonderful things that are out here in this world. And a Facebook page isn't one of them. And I was just so mad because it took it and held my pictures of my kids on it that I hadn't saved, and videos of my brother after my brother died, and they got all that, and conversations I saved for people that talked to me. And my son has Oculus account on there and all the games that we bought for him, and now they're gone because somebody took them. I thought, you did this to me. Don't do it to my kid. God said I did it for you. It's just money on the games. But it's time for my kids. Whew. It's time. And if there's anything I know about that, it's like, you don't know how long you're here, and you make the most of it. So be nice to people. Treat them the way you want to be treated. Pray for those of them that did things to you. Pray for them. And there's that one part, Matthew, talking about doing it before you go to prison, or do it before the other person finds out about it, or somebody in charge. And like forgiving this person that did this to us with his email thing, and letting go, just letting go of it. I'm just gonna have to let go. Let it go. And forgive them. When you're with, I believe that when you're with God, and when you really start to fill up with light, feel like you're falling more and more in love with the Creator, things come against you. And it's true. I mean, I've had so much stuff happen to me that's just like, it's just been really piling on for the last couple weeks. I mean, a lot. I mean, there's just been a lot last few weeks. I mean, I could sit here and name it, but it's just, I mean, it's ridiculous. Just to name a few, most of the stuff that's been happening has been about money and just basically taking you down to absolutely nothing, not being able to eat. So, but yeah, I mean, my car, my alternator went out, my battery went out, my electrical in my car went out, my other car died, my alignment's bad on my other vehicle. I got lights coming on in this car. So I have, yes, we have several cars, but they're all junk. And it's like, then this stuff, my washing machine. I mean, it just, if you name it, it just really just kind of went. We're having road construction on our property, and it's really affected my business because people can't go down my road, and I have no sidewalk right now. It looks like foreign country out there. And no offense to foreign countries, I feel really bad for you that just we're just not used to that over here. Um, so I've been blessed about that. So there you go. But I haven't had a fence. I haven't had a sidewalk all by when my fence is going to. It just kind of keeps falling over between us and the neighbors. We keep kind of taking it back up. Poor neighbor. Um, there's just a lot, and you know, I went to the grocery store yesterday. I got a couple of things and it was $80. Um, we're really feeling it there. I know everybody is. Gas, so expensive. It's just when's it gonna lessen a little bit? But reading that part about the flowers in the fields and clothing and being fed, and I have faith that God's going to get us through it. I do. I have absolute faith. So I love you guys. I don't know who you are. I see 2 people actually watch. Thank you. Thank you, 2 people. I feel bad even asking. If you could thumbs up my video, that would be great. I just love God, and I love talking about God. And I'm sorry if I got depressing. I'll be better in my next video. I hope. I don't want to promise too much because I don't want to lie. But if you want to talk to somebody that knows things about the books, the Bible, I do. I read quite a bit, and I know a lot of the lost scriptures. And I really hope that you stick along with me and my channel. And there's going to be a lot of good things. So I'll talk to you guys later. God bless you.